Welcome back, explorers, to Exploration Imagination. I'm Brandon.
I'm Kelly.
And we're back with another exciting episode. Today's episode, we are going to be talking about, in general, Universal and Disney.
Universal and Disney?
Disney.
Are you sure?
In fact,
tough for you to get out
yeah,
there.
I know. It's a little difficult sometimes to do things. Let me pull up my notes real quick so we're not in the dark as much as we usually are.
There we go.
Yeah, hooray. Being prepared is great. So, not only are we talking about Universal Disney, but theme parks in general, but those are the two big heavy hitters that everyone usually comes to Orlando for. So, first thing we're going to talk about, and these are just going to be general topics, first thing we're talking about is going to be show quality.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
So, show quality. Both of these guys take it on differently. Disney and Universal take on show quality in different manners.
That is very true.
So, for Universal, for example, show quality is actually based on a point system. Every piece of animation that is inside a ride or show inside of the theme park.
Really, any effect.
Really,
is
actually where the point value, and once you get to so many points, Universal will shut down for poor show quality. So sometimes when you get to a ride and it's shut down, it might not be for a legit ride vehicle issue. It might be because just Universal feels that it is not good enough show. You spent money, so
it's not always broken rides, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, so sometimes they think that it is not good enough for those coming and spending money, so they will bring the ride back up. Because no one wants to go to Twister and have, everything broken.
Twister.
Twister. And if those who went to the last few days of Twister open at Universal, they did run it, but almost everything was broken. And they felt that it was for better just to have the last nostalgic look at it before they shut it down. But in reality, show quality-wise, it was not up to their standards.
No, it definitely wasn't. I mean, you didn't have anything coming at you. I don't even think the floor dropped.
I think it did. I think it was the floor drop and the Twister itself were one of the few things they had going at the end.
I mean, there's a reason why they got rid of it at the moment, right?
I mean, it's an expensive show. A lot of shows are expensive. You're talking about tens of thousands of dollars to run a single show.
Yep.
So sometimes they just...
And physical effects break.
Yes.
Physical effects break.
Yes. And so with Universal, they will shut down a ride if show quality is too poor. Disney,
on the other hand,
will not. Disney has the mentality that you are there and you will ride it whether things are working or not. For example, Jungle Cruise.
Jungle Cruise.
Yes, there have been many a times where the Jungle Cruise, nothing will be working. It's not always, but sometimes you will have nothing working, and then you will get on the boat and you'll ride it around, and the only thing working is the skipper in the boat.
What he means by that, ladies and gentlemen, is the animatronics that are all around. Sorry, they're not real animals, guys. Sorry.
Spoiler alert!
Oh my gosh, spoiler alert! But the animatronics of the animals all throughout the ride, nothing will be moving. So you just be staring at I don't know, just a figure.
You just have an elephant sitting there like.
He's an elephant. Yep. I'm an elephant. I'm here.
Yeah. So that being said, Disney doesn't care really. They don't. Not that they don't care, but their mentality is that those visiting have never experienced it before. So what do they know if it's working or not?
And also, hey, get them in, get them out.
Exactly.
As far as the rides are concerned, because they have a lot of people going to those parks, and they want them to be. If the ride is working, they will be running. It does not matter.
Yeah.
It is
as long as the ride vehicles move. I mean, a good example of that is safaris. Those are live animals.
Well, hey, spoiler alert.
Those are live animals. So, for safaris, you're not guaranteed to see the animals, but you're still going to go out there to see if there is that possibility of seeing an animal.
Though I will say, they do a very good job of finding the animals, those old drivers there, because I've never really been on that ride and not seen any animals. I've seen some, maybe not all, but they do a good job.
Yes. But that being said, if I had to pick show quality things, I would say Universal almost wins on that one.
I would definitely say Universal wins.
Because, yes, I would love to go, and once again, it depends on how many times you have been. But for those of us who live here, if I go to Jungle Cruise, I expect at least something to be working instead of us riding along. And it's actually kind of demoralizing for those who do work the rides because they do care. So those skippers care if you're going around, and you might see them in a bad mood because they have brought it up, and Disney said, hey, it's more about the ride than at least riding it than the show quality of it.
It didn't really, and it doesn't really matter, right? They just think, well, we got the person there, and they can just talk through it, right?
Yeah,
as it is what it is.
And for Disney's point, even like other rides, their mentality is at least you could say you rode it, and once again, they're hoping you don't notice something's broken, but sometimes it is. You might get to the hula girls inside the Small World.
Oh, yeah.
They might just be still, and they're hoping that you're looking at something else.
Or listening to the mind-numbingly "It's a Small World" song.
Oh yes, fun story. Been trapped on that ride before at night. They thought they cycled clear already, and Julie and I are sitting there like, oh
my gosh, really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So there have been a lot of fun stories last night. But that being said, show quality wise, I'm going to give it to Universal. I do think that if I'm paying the money to go there, I expect things to work. It
should be working.
And with that mentality that Disney has, sometimes their techs will just let it slide of like, oh, I don't have to fix this because
who cares? The ride's working.
The ride's working. It's going around. Whereas at Universal, the techs are more mentality of, well, I gotta fix this or the ride won't run because of show quality reasons.
A big one for that I've always found going is Haunted Mansion.
Yes,
because they have so many animatronics in that.
They have a lot of stuff going on,
and they have a lot of stuff going on. So if something's not working, you're looking at 12 other things. But people like you and me, we go there and we're like, hey, that's not working. What's going on there?
Yeah.
Right. So you might not notice it if it's your first time going. Right, and that's what they're hoping for.
Yes. But I do appreciate Universal caring a little bit more of like, you've spent this much money because it is not cheap going to these theme parks.
Neither one.
So I appreciate that mentality of I want to make sure it looks nice for the viewers.
Yes. Well, but I also do see in this, I do see where Disney's coming from. Hey, at least the ride's open and you can go in, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's very difficult to say.
It is.
I would have to get to Universal too. I'm not disagreeing with you, but what I am saying is like I can see. Hey, if it's here and I want to get on, then why can't I get on?
Yeah.
So.
But once again, I'd be just like, even if I came and it was my first time, if we went to one of these parks that we're planning on go to, and I get up there and obviously the figure is supposed to move. It's pretty clear that the figure is supposed to be moving. Like, the audio is going, like, for example, you might have a guy with a pickaxe or something, and if he's just frozen, and you hear that tink, 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 like he's supposed to be hammering away, I might be like, okay, that's a little...
And it doesn't look great, right?
No.
I mean, it's just not a good show quality.
Yes, and so I'm going to give that to Universal.
Yeah, well, we are probably going to go to... what do you think, Brandon? I think guest interaction?
Guest interaction sounds great. So guest interaction is a big thing with both these theme parks. Disney, amazing with guest interaction. It's what they're actually known for besides the rides or anything else.
They were known for, in my opinion, but we'll get into that later.
Back in the day, they did like magical moments, and they were actually pushing for these magical one-time experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Has that faltered over the years? A little bit, yes. I do imagine. Yes, it has.
I would say
faltered.
a lot, but okay.
All right, go on.
I mean, so there are. I've had some very interesting experiences within the last, 4 or 5 years of Disney that I would have never have had before. Okay. Because let's say I can bring up one specific example. As I was at a restaurant at Disney, and we had ordered our food. We ordered our food. We even ordered a whole bottle of wine. And then we went out and watched the fireworks.
Okay.
Well, they decided, because we got up, and we even told our waiter we were going to watch the fireworks. And we got up, went to watch the fireworks, and they cleared our table and said, "Oh, the kitchen's closed." So now we couldn't even order food. So now we're at 9:00 at night because we got a reservation at 9:00 at night, and we couldn't order food. They said the kitchen's closed. It's done, and there was no option. No one gave us any sort of, any compensation for this.
No warning, no way to be like, hey, the kitchen's closing in 30, what do you want?
They didn't, and we had ordered that because we figured the kitchen was closing. So everything was ordered, from our appetizers, our entrees, and our dessert. We ordered everything, so they had it in because we knew that, again, we work in hospitality, folks. So I understood this. Mm-hmm. And so we got it all done. They cleared our table. They gave us the bottle of wine for free. That's about it. But we went up to guest services, and they just said, "Oh well." They did not do anything, nothing. Which that beyond 5 years ago, we would have been taken care of.
Yeah, but I say that it was true.
We would have been taken care of so much, and we've just had a lot of things have gone a little bit more corporate. I would say it has a little bit more not magical feel.
Yeah, it has lost a lot of the magic over the years. I do agree with you, but I still would choose them over guest interaction over Universal. I feel like Universal almost has more of an anger towards the people. I mean, not everyone. There are some people that are great over there, but I feel like in general, for example, I've gone to the Men in Black one.
Well, that was my baby.
Yeah, going to Men in Black, but literally I would ask a question, I was completely ignored. And I was like, hey, why aren't we loading this other side? Like, you skipped like a whole car coming in. Because they loaded the front right, front left, back left, back right was left empty. Okay. Completely empty.
Well, they might have had a problem with that car.
They might have had a problem with that car, but that's all you got to say. But to be completely ignored when asked, hey, why aren't we loading that one? And then to talk to their other buddy, that to me, and I've seen it a lot over there almost. And it could be I just happen to hit them on the weird days. It could be. I might just be getting there on the weird days.
It could be. But I will say, having worked frontline at both, I would say that I get what you're saying about the interactions at Universal, but I will say that they still do a lot more guest experiences now than Disney does now.
I think it comes down to if the person likes where they're at.
That's hospitality in a nutshell.
Exactly. And so that goes for Disney and Universal. So if you're at a ride or attraction or show that you absolutely love working at, you will get the best experience because that person loves coming to work every day. Whereas if you, for example, are working at a ride and you've had a bad day and you don't want to be there, and it's a ride that you just absolutely despise for some reason, then you're just going to treat it like like you don't like it.
Well, I mean, I guess that's like any other job, right?
Exactly.
But I just know that Disney used to have a whole training program, and
yes,
that's all.
They had the whole Disney Institute thing that you had to go to the different classes, and they used to have supervisors that would call you out. I mean, and they gave you more freedom to give those
which that's gone now too.
Exactly. So I think maybe that might be where it is. Maybe the up highs are now kind of
money conscious.
Yeah, money more conscious, and they're trying to kind of bring everyone in to be more theme parky and less magical.
Yeah.
So guess interaction wise, I would still give it to Disney because they do push those magical experiences a little bit more because that's what they were known for back in the day, and I think they're trying. Some people are still holding on to that magic dream and hoping it doesn't go away. But Universal, I feel it's not much, but I feel like Disney's just got the upper edge.
And I feel like it's Universal.
Okay. See, and once again, it could come down to experiences, though.
I guess.
So it could run into just my experiences versus your experiences.
And the only reason I feel like it's Universal is because, frankly, they're freer to talk to me like a normal person.
True.
Than Disney is. Those there's scripted sayings and things like that they have to say. Where Universal, it's more of a conversation. And it also, folks, to be quite honest, if you want to have a good guest experience, treat the people nice.
Yes, don't yell at them. Talk to them like they're people. If they do ignore you, don't be all angry and give them the benefit of the doubt. We all have bad days. I know that probably you've had a bad day where you don't want to deal with people. But imagine 500,000 people coming to you in that day.
And he's not exaggerating.
Yeah, so imagine all those people coming to you and every one of them yells at you. Yes, you're going to have a bad day. And we're all human, so it's going to waterfall onto the next person sometimes.
Yes. So I would say one of those tips and tricks, be nice to your people. And they will usually, not all the time, but usually be nice back.
Exactly.
Another one that we would really want to talk about, cleanliness.
Yeah, cleanliness. So, once again, this is another thing that I feel like has faltered through the years.
In which park?
Both parks.
Really?
Both parks. This one, I'm going to knock both of them. I'm not going to give this to any of them.
Oh.
Because just going through the parks lately, it feels like trash cans aren't being as cleaned as much as they are. Ride vehicles, they're just the basic, is it big enough? It's just general good enough is what it's at this point.
Well, what that could be is, and just to be frank, and just observational from the world that we live in today, they might not have the labor for it anymore.
They might not have the labor for it, but my big thing with Disney is all of their garbage is all of their park services. Over at Universal, inside the rides, it's actually the team members.
It's actually the team members, yeah.
So the actual people running the ride will also be in charge of doing the trash.
That's very
so
true.
if you are at Universal and you see someone at Merge and the trash can's overflowing, technically they should have made a call to someone, because they always have at least one floater, especially on the busy days, to go take care of that little stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I know that does happen, and it is difficult. Or even their lead should go take care of them, right? I mean, that's part of their job. But I would agree with you on this one. I was going to give them a tie, but I guess we'll tie on underneath. Like they're not as good as they were. Disney, I have without exaggeration, and this might not go to cleanliness, but just park quality, I guess. I've seen them change out trees in the park because they had a couple dead leaves on the tree, right? So I don't know if that's happening anymore because I see a lot of dead trees.
A lot of dead trees. Once again, we usually went down to eat over at Pinocchio Village House.
Ooh, Pinocchio.
Every single trash can was so full that people were just piling it on top.
Yeah,
every
that's terrible.
Single trash can. And to me, that's just unacceptable. Because back in the day, they used to go and look at it, and if it was even half full, they would contemplate whether they needed to change it, or they would at least come back as a mental note to come to it. And once again, it could be the shortage of labor employees, but it's almost not an excuse. Because if I have my rounds, and I'm supposed to be checking these certain things, I need to make sure I check those certain things.
I agree.
And
also, you're paying a lot of money, and you don't want to see that, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
We're not going to a $30 park here.
No, we're going to. If I'm spending this money, and I need to put my trash somewhere, and I have to try to play Jenga and put it on top of it so it doesn't end up on the floor. And then you got also the kids who freaking run by, and if it's all teetering over there's that possibility of it falling.
And they love to play with it, right?
And they do,
which is terrible. They play with the trash cans.
Everyone loves playing everywhere on these things.
Yeah, well,
so cleanliness-wise,
we're gonna say they have gone down.
They have gone down. Now, back in the day, I would have given it to Disney. But, yeah.
Can't say that anymore.
Not anymore.
Can't say it anymore.
It's definitely downhill.
I definitely would have given it to Disney back in the day. I mean, Magic Kingdom used to be, you could eat off the ground. Like, I mean, they pressure wash that stuff every day. Obviously, you don't eat off the ground.
Yeah,
Brandon.
don't eat off the ground, please.
Please,
no.
We're not telling you to eat off the ground, Jesus.
I'm saying, even if you see your kid, because imagine you have all these people, not to be germophobic, but you have all these people from different countries who track things in on their feet. They might have stepped in dog poo. You don't know. So, germ-wise, don't let your kids lick windows. Don't let your kids eat off the ground.
Just don't eat off the ground in general. I think that's probably a good rule.
If it's not food, don't put it in your mouth.
I think it's probably a good rule.
Yeah. A little bit off topic there,
I don't know where that came from, but public service announcement by Brandon. And you know,
and the more you know.
Don't eat off the ground.
Insert rainbow here. You know what I'm going to do in post. You don't know.
You have no idea. Well, I think our next subject, now that we both have given them, we've gone down another rabbit hole of funness. We are going to go with the rides.
Rides, yes.
Rides.
So
now
we're not talking about specific rides on this.
We are not talking about specific rides.
No, we're going on.
And we're not going to bring up specific rides, little Jim.
So general rides. Once again, things to keep in mind. If you are a family with teenagers who love thrill rides, Universal all the way.
If you have just teenage people, even 10, 12-year-olds that are tall enough to get on bigger rides and they like that stuff, guys, Universal's right.
Yeah, Universal. Now, do keep in mind it does have height restrictions. They are available online, so do research that.
Please.
If your kid is a thrill seeker but is on the smaller side, research before you go, just so you know. Hey, and outside every gate, before you even walk in and spend, they confirm the ticket before you can even do that, they do have height sticks outside, and I recommend hiding up your kids so you know which ones you can go for, and then, talk with the people out front. They won't let you in, but maybe they can give you, something cool for next time when you come by, if you are tall enough.
Yeah, and especially at Universal, because Disney doesn't have as many height restrictions as Universal, which we will get into later, but Universal has a lot of thrill rides, a lot of very big rides, and a lot of really fun technical rides, which are, quite frankly, if you're not big enough, are dangerous for you.
Yes, they're not telling you you're too small because you're mean. They're telling you too small because of safety reasons. You don't want to be sliding out, and that goes with those who are larger and can't fit into restraints.
Like me.
Yep, some of the rides Kelly can't ride because the restraints just aren't clickable. Because we have to have a certain number of clicks on the safety harnesses to make sure you're going to be safe. So, that being said, don't be angry if you do not fit. It is for your own safety. We'd rather you not be thrown from a vehicle or injured in any way. So, for their protection, they're just saying, hey, due to certain restrictions, you can't ride. And that goes for too tall as well.
Too tall.
You can't
a couple
be
rides,
too tall to ride certain rides. Rocket has a height right at the top. Same with Space Mountain. I think it has a height one as well.
Space Mountain now does have have it.
Once again, don't be angry with that, but certain rides do go for that. Now, if you're not a thrill seeker and you like the more of the casual, slower rides,
and you want those rides that the whole family can get on,
everyone in the family can ride. Grandma, Grandpa, little Timmy, all of them can ride it.
That's Disney.
That's Disney. That's Disney all the way.
That's Disney in a nutshell, frankly.
But keep in mind, this is the one caveat I will say: babies. A lot of people think at Disney that you can bring infants on a lot of rides. Disney may turn you down for certain rides.
I didn't know that people ever tried to bring babies on rides.
People try to sneak babies on rides.
I've never had that experience.
I've had several experiences of parents who want their kids to ride, and I mean babies, and they want to ride personally, not the baby. Obviously, it's too young.
I mean,
but they have had parents where they're like holding them inside their shirt and it's all buttoned up. And they put the harness down, and something squeaks weird, and they go, wait a second, and they open up the shirt, and there's a baby inside.
Guys, I'm going to stop right here and do another PSA. That sounds super dangerous.
Yes.
Don't do that.
Yes.
Don't do that.
Don't.
You don't want... that just sounds bad.
They have child swaps.
Yeah, they have processes in place, so you and your significant other... that with the child, or even if you're just with a big family, that some of you can go ride, and then whoever watches the child can go on the ride after the other people get off. Do not be sneaking babies on the ride. I didn't know that happened. Holy cow.
Yeah, it actually happens quite often on certain rides.
That's very scary, guys.
And once again, it's for the child's safety. We're not trying to be mean. It is for the child's safety.
Yeah.
Because you don't want certain rides shake violently or do loops and stuff, which are not great for babies. So, that being said, please, child swap.
Yeah, child swap. It's super easy, guys. And most of the time, most of your party gets to ride twice.
Yes. So child swap.
Child swap it.
If you're a single parent and you bring your baby, maybe hire a babysitter to come with you. I'm pretty sure a babysitter, or you can hire a VIP person to come with you. You can hire all these certain people to come with you, but sneaking a baby onto a ride can get you expelled from the park in certain things.
Yes, very much so. It's endangerment of a child.
So, that being said, we went off on one of our tangents.
That PSA though, that's scary. I didn't even know about that.
Yes, it actually happens quite often. Food quality, to be more specific. I know you love your food quality. I love my food quality as well.
Yes.
But food quality based on both parks.
So, I would say the food quality, I'm giving it to Disney by far. I would say they do have a lot more options of different types of food in a lot of the parks. So, Epcot, for example, has 13 different countries. They all have different types of food. And most of them have sit-down restaurants, except for America. I don't know why.
America has a sit-down.
They have a sit-down?
They have the barbecue place now.
Oh, well, see, it used to just be that the walk-up.
Yeah, no, they have the Regal Eagle.
Regal Eagle. Yeah, okay.
And we will talk about that as well.
Anyway, check that one off the list. Sorry, guys. But there is a lot of options in all of these parks for you to be able to eat, and the food quality is great, in my opinion. Now, Universal does have good food quality, and it is better than everybody else besides Disney, in my opinion, as far as in the park, but a lot more at Universal is quick service, and I like to sit down and enjoy my meal.
You see, I would have to disagree, because I think Disney, as much as they do have a lot of options, I got you there, they do have a lot of options, but sometimes it just feels like generic food sometimes. just the generic like chicken tenders or burgers or whatever.
Well, that's at their quick service, though,
I mean,
not at their sit down. I'm talking about
but
they have
even
a
at
sit down.
the sit down stuff, it almost feels generic sometimes. Whereas like over at City Walk, I have a lot more options, and and also
if you want to bring in City Walk, then I can bring in Disney Springs.
I mean, I'm saying Disney Springs as well, but I still would give it to Universal because I enjoy their restaurants a little bit more, like even in the park, Mythos and all that kind of stuff.
Well,
yes, I
Mythos
agree.
is
Disney has more sit-down restaurants internally.
Yes.
But you have, I think, quality-wise, I think better sit-down restaurants.
Besides Lombard's, I guess you have Lombard's, Finnegan's, and Mythos. What other sit-down restaurant do you have in the parks?
Let's see. Sit-down restaurants.
Yeah, see, you don't have any more.
Yeah. Most of them are quick service. Once again, there is more quick service at Universal, but I do like the quality of sit-down restaurants better than Disney.
I do love Lombard's.
That's why Mythos has won awards.
Well, Mythos has won many awards.
Mythos has won many awards.
And they have a great chef. So, if you're going to Universal, go to Mythos.
So, does it then go to quantity or quality? Because, yes, Disney has more, but sometimes it feels like they're spread too thin. And sometimes there are certain restaurants where it almost feels like it's the same kitchen, and almost they just rename the dish and send it to another one. Sometimes.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm not disagreeing with you on that, but I will say that if you do not want the hustle and bustle, and you just don't want to walk up to a quick service and go through that, I mean, there is a lot of great options at Disney, and I can just think of one restaurant that I never thought would be in a theme park, African food at the Tusker House.
Tusker House is amazing.
It is amazing, and it's great. It's African. I don't know which country in Africa. I don't think they peg it to one of them.
No.
I think that's just African in general.
Tusker House is amazing.
It is an amazing place.
Now, I'll give that to Disney. They have more variety.
Variety of different foods.
But once again, it is sometimes hit or miss at Tusker House when I've gone.
I've never had a miss.
I've had a couple misses. It hasn't been often, but there have been a couple misses at Tusker House. And then you got places like Sci-Fi Dining over in Hollywood.
Well,
I like that one.
I like it. The theme is amazing.
But the quality has gone down. From when I was a kid and went versus what they are now.
In general, we're saying that, right?
Yes.
I mean, in general, we're saying things have gone down at both places.
I was going to say, both places things have gone. But I almost feel like that one should keep just the standards. And even quick service-wise, I kind of like Universal over Disney.
Well, I'll give quick service to Universal. But overall food... No.
Because I will take a Today Cafe sandwich over one of the quick service ones over at... Or the,
I love Mel's Burgers.
Mel's
Burgers are good. And they're just good. I mean, we used to eat there when we worked there. I mean, it's a good place. And Lombard's is probably one of my favorite sit-down restaurants in a theme park that there is. But my favorite is still Mama Melrose, and that's my thing. I love it. Of course, I love Italian. So.
I want to say you're obsessed with the Italian. But, I mean, once again, there are certain ones that I would have said I love, like fettuccinis back in the day in Italy.
No.
Yep, but it's no longer there.
No, it's Tutto Italia and the Pizza Torri.
But,
it's a pizza place.
It's not as impressive as what I thought it was.
Man. I just have a hard time. I can't give you this one. I can't give you this.
We're gonna have to agree to disagree.
We're gonna agree to disagree on this one. All right, guys, and we're gonna be moving on to special events.
Okay, special event wise, they both have different varieties,
and they both do a lot of special events. So, starting this whole conversation, guys, look up the times when these happen.
Yes.
Because going to the parks and having special events at the park, it's just like an added extra thing.
Yes.
And it's cool. They do, both of them do this very well.
Yes.
They kind of do different events.
Yes. So right now we have Mardi Gras going on.
Yeah.
Which is great. I love the parades.
Great food.
It's got great food. It's got a lot of food booths. I love Mardi Gras.
I love Mardi Gras too.
So that is a great event at Universal. And also Halloween Horror Nights. It is the top rated Halloween event. And it actually packs in so many people that it almost pays for itself. So
almost pays for the whole park.
Yeah, almost. But yeah, so Halloween Horror Nights alone is worth a ticket. But Also, you got
But
Disney.
that's a separate ticket.
Yes, these are all separate ticket events, by the
No,
way.
Mardi Gras is not a separate ticket.
Oh, it isn't anymore.
That is not a separate ticket.
Okay,
so you can get this. What I'm saying, guys, look at your times.
Research, yes.
Do some
Yes, that's
research.
my
Just it's not hard. Trust me. They're gonna post the shit right onto the main on their main channel. They're gonna tell or their main feed on any one of their websites. They're gonna tell you what's going on.
Yes.
And always look for special events. We love to go to special events. One, because it's just an extra bang for your buck, right? You're going in there, you're spending a bunch of money. If you're going to a special event, heck, Mardi Gras, you can go to Mardi Gras and you go to you get your park ticket, you play during the day, and then guess what, guys? You get a concert.
Yeah, a free concert. We're talking big ones like Marshmallow and
Marshmallow, Pitbull. I definitely want to see the. I think Revolution's playing this year. No. Oh God, the Revivalists. I am definitely seeing the Revivalists this year. But they bring in big names here. We're not talking about the local guys. So you can get a free concert. It's not free. You're paying for the park ticket, but it's it's added on to the ticket that you already would be paying. So it doesn't really, you know what I mean? It's kind of free.
But I mean, also keep in mind it's another reason to research these events is if it is a separate ticket event, the park is going to close early.
Yes, very true.
So you might have a 6 o'clock close at one park because it has an event going on, whereas another park might be open longer.
So let's compare and contrast these events.
This one's going to be hard.
This is very difficult because we
because
like them all.
They have different events. Let's go to Halloween. So Halloween events for Disney and Universal. You got Horror Nights and Mickey's Not So Scary. And
it's right in the title there, folks.
Yeah. So, once again, younger kids are going to love Mickey's Not So Scary. Halloween Horror Nights is supposed to be PG-13. So,
even though that does not happen.
Keep that in mind. Also, if you're going to Horror Nights, there is blood, there is guts. Please.
And they're going to jump out and scare you, because guess what? It's Halloween Horror Nights.
It is Halloween Horror Nights. So, if you have a small child who is easily scared, please do not bring them in their stroller through the lines.
Speaking as a former scare actor, please don't do that. It makes us feel terrible.
And it happens all the time. Parents bring their kids in and then get upset that they were scared at Halloween Horror Nights.
It's Halloween
Horror Nights. So, take them to Mickey's Not So Scary. I fully agree with that.
And it's fun.
It is fun. I've gone to Mickey's Not So Scary, and just me and Julie.
And I will say this, and I'm going to add another one in here because of special events, and we're talking special events. I know we're doing Disney and Universal, but I do enjoy the event at the Hollow Scream, or also they used to do their trick-or-treating at SeaWorld.
Yes, the Spooktacular
or something like
that.
It was very fun. So I think SeaWorld does a good job with the Halloween event as well.
And they're also trying out Hollow Scream. Last year was their first year doing it.
Yeah.
I think they did all right. There were a couple of niches. So this year I'd like to see if they actually grew with that. So, I mean, because there were a lot of weird places for lines and stuff. It wasn't big stuff. The houses were great, but there were weird stuff with like the entries and exits of lines. For example, I do not want to exit the line and get thrown right back at the front of the park.
Well, I mean, they want you to walk, man. Come on.
Yeah, but for them, how it was set up is I had to then take another and go through the same scare zones I already did because it's a one-way.
That sucks.
So, yeah, how it was set up was the park came up, you went into the house, and then you exited right back at the beginning, right where the entrance gate is.
Well,
and you're like,
that's silly.
Now I gotta go over here because then it splits from there.
I guess they had to. They probably didn't have the room for it or something. I don't know.
I'm hoping they change that one house though.
But comparing and contrasting is pretty difficult on this.
For this one, it all depends on what you like. I mean,
now and then one of the best events of the year at Disney is Epcot Food and Wine. The
Epcot festivals, the Food and Wine, Festival of the Arts,
the Festival of the Arts, the Flower and Garden,
because the Flower and Garden one's coming up. They're actually prepping for that right now.
Yeah,
but yes, those are all great. I love trying the food, and once again, Seven Seas Food Festival at SeaWorld is also great.
We do like that.
That's currently going on, and Universal, mainly their food booths are with whatever event they have.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a specific food-related one. It's either Mardi Gras or Halloween Horror Nights, and each one has its own specific booth.
Yes.
So for that one, it's a little bit of specialty on that. They don't really have a food festival for Universal.
I would agree. So, in general, we can't really say one's better than the other on this one. It's really all about what you like and
do your research.
So I love Food and Wine. right? And so I go to the festival called Food and Wine.
So your top one would be Food and Wine.
My top event?
What's your top event between Universal and Disney?
Jesus, it's got to be Halloween Horror Nights.
I know mine's gonna be Halloween.
I can't.
Top Disney event then. I'll just specify.
Top Disney events, Food and Wine. Period.
Okay, Food and Wine.
I mean,
I would go Festival of the Arts because I'm more of the creative side.
He's
on
a
that
very
one.
fancy fellow.
I'm a fancy.
Yes.
So I would go with that. It's almost the same food and such, same booths, but I do like looking at the art as well.
Okay.
Well, and Food and Wine, I do hit or miss on me for Food and Wine because of plate sizes.
Plate sizes and the expensive. I mean, if you're going to Food and Wine, folks, set aside $300 minimum.
Just for food.
And that's just for food.
Just for food for one day.
Yep, for one day.
And don't think that a dish is going to fill you up, because it's not.
Yeah, I mean, I save up for a solid month and a half for just one day at Food and Wine. Because I clearly eat a lot of food and drink a lot of wine.
That's one reason I'd almost pick Seven Seas over it, because at least the portion size...
And it's cheaper.
It's cheaper, and the portion sizes, I feel like, are bigger.
And the food quality was just as good,
yeah,
I would say.
Oh, yeah, they've gone uphill on that one.
Yeah, so. They've definitely got better with that.
Yeah, so... Once again, research, and it all depends on you trying it out. For this one, we can't say ours. You try it out.
You pick it.
You pick which one you are. Try them all out. Once again, research if it's a separate ticket event or not.
Yeah, because
once again, Food and Wine,
don't get mad.
It's all included, whereas things like Horror Nights and stuff are not.
And don't get mad.
Mickey's Not So Scary, not. They have a Villains Party now.
Villains Party,
not.
Yeah, don't get mad.
Yeah, don't get mad.
Because guess what? It costs more money.
Yeah. So, next thing I'm going to talk about is the creation of new things between the parks.
Oh, this is your favorite.
This is my favorite.
This is why.
This is the most I can complain, and I'm giving it to Universal because they can design and build one. I mean, just look at how long it took. We still don't have Tron. This started forever ago. We still don't have Tron.
What was that, 4 or 5 years now?
And I know people are going to be like, the show quality, though, doesn't even put in the theming. It is a copy-paste.
It's a copy-paste.
It has already been designed. It is a complete copy-paste from the one over in Shanghai, and it is still being built. Whereas Universal, in the meantime, has built 2 rides. Three? Has it been 3?
Because of Hagrid's,
Velocicoaster,
and then Fast was during that time too.
Okay, so 3 rides. We have built 3 rides. We're not
Fast. Fast
we don't count.
We don't.
Fast.
It's a ride.
It's a ride. Even Universal regrets building it. The technology is cool for it, but not implemented correctly.
Correct.
Which is something that happens a lot with both these theme parks.
For
example. The KUKA mechanism. I remember over at Epcot, you used to ride the KUKA arms, and it simulated a coaster, and it was in Innoventions.
Innoventions, yeah.
Yep, it was in Innoventions. They did that before Universal propped Potter.
Correct.
So, they had the technology. They just were too scared to use it, and I feel like that brings them down sometimes. Whereas Universal will gamble a little bit more on their rides, and sometimes it wins, sometimes it loses. So, I'm going to give that to Universal because they can build it quicker. They can theme it almost as good. Look at Velocicoaster. There are a lot of Easter eggs in Velocicoaster, one of my favorite rides. But there is a lot of Easter eggs. It is not just a run-of-the-mill coaster. It is actually themed pretty well.
And it's super... Guys, straight up, second favorite coaster of all time. Period. Done.
It's one of my favorites. But I haven't ridden his favorite yet, so...
That'll be part of this.
Yeah. So that being said, it is one of my favorites, and I am a Jurassic Park fan.
He loves Jurassic Park.
Around my room, even off to the side behind Kelly here, you can see I am a Jurassic Park fan.
But I can't disagree with him on this one, which I usually like to do.
He does.
But this one is gotta go to Universal. They are much more innovative, and the ride technology, the way they do things. And not only are they more innovative, but they get it done quicker. And so those rides that you love, that you want to wait and you go on and open up new rides and you want to go to something and see something new, they give it to you. They give it to you. Within 2 to 3 years of announcing it, it'll be open. Whereas, what did Avatar take? Avatar took almost 8 years.
Yes. And it's a beautiful land.
It's gorgeous. There's nothing wrong. They did it well.
But could have been done in less time.
Way less time. I mean, we built Harry Potter was built in 3 years.
Yes.
You know, and it's, in my opinion, themed just as well.
Yes. Like Hagrid's, love that ride. It's a great ride. And that took, what, 2 or 3 years?
2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
And that was demolishing the old ride and rebuilding a whole nother ride.
Oh, dragons.
And then testing and adjusting. So, for that, I gotta give it to Universal. They can build it quicker. And Disney, I love
They
their
don't
stuff.
take chances.
I know some people are going to be like, hey.
Some people are going to get mad at us.
Yeah, they're going to get mad because we can't do it. There are some people that are
Disney
fans. And nothing can go wrong. And I know they're going to be screaming at us. But I don't need a ride that is 5-10 years later. I don't need to be riding something that is already, the whole thing is already done. Like, I've already forgotten about it.
He's talking about Tron specifically. He does
even Guardians.
Well, yeah,
Guardians has been a while, and I know
Guardians
they're built
has
on
been a long while.
So that ride should,
and it's just one ride building.
And it's just one ride building. And I know they gutted Ellen's, but it wasn't much there to begin with.
I was going to say, what are you gutting? It was an empty space.
Exactly.
I mean, well, you had to gut the animatronics, but how long does that take?
Exactly.
4 or 5 months.
Even that is pushing it, because you can get half that stuff out within 48 hours if you know what you're doing.
Well,
now,
but they got all the bases, they got all the stuff in there.
I mean, actually, most rides, though, most of it is so component that you can get it out pretty easy, though.
Well, do they build in components over there?
They should.
Yeti.
Yeah, Disco Yeti over at
Animal Kingdom.
We will have probably a whole episode.
The whole one episode is going to be
just on that
designed Yeti. On one just ride.
On that design, because that was just poorly designed.
Insane.
If it worked right, it'd be great. But for them to take that long and boast about how this thing was great
and how big of an animatronic
now
it is.
We just have a fan and a strobe light on it.
Woo, woo, woo.
So Disco Yeti for life.
Well, we're both agreement. We're giving it to Universal.
Yeah,
Universal wins
on the creation of new things. Disney, step up your game, bro. I need you to do better, especially when you own your own construction company.
Yeah, you build it, guys. Come on.
You build it. You can set their time, and if you need to go third party out, go third party out. You're Disney. They will pay. They will pay. They will pay to be at your place just to have that on their resume.
Well, this was a good conversation on a bouncing back and forth between Disney and Universal. We've agreed disagree some stuff.
And maybe you agree with us. Maybe you don't.
Maybe you don't. Maybe we're going to get a bunch of yelling at. I don't know, whatever.
In fact, we would like to hear. If you have suggestions of food places or want to throw your 10 cents in, go. Don't be mean. Don't be mean.
They're going to be mean. Let's be real about that.
But don't be too mean. Don't yell at each other. Not that type of place. But yeah, open conversation. If you have places for us to try or have cleanliness that maybe you are, hey, I've been there and it's been spotless, or my kid licks the windows all the time and he's fine. God bless him. God bless him. Know.
As they say in the South, bless his heart.
Bless his heart. But yeah, that's a great place to wrap up, I think.
I think so. All right. Well, we are going to be talking about in our next episode, Epcot, correct?
Epcot will be our next stop. So, until next time, guys, keep on exploring.
Explore.